week. So at this point, I think it would be time to get on over to a gaming news. Derrick.
Oh, yeah.
Full Metal Merc.
I got a few quick ones for y'all. So first off, Christopher Judge is going to be voicing Black Panther in Marvel's Avengers War for Wakanda expansion.
Boy.
So if anything, right. So if nothing else, the character will sound good and the game will still probably be bad.
Captain America, do not be sorry. Be better.
Right, be better.
Yeah, if you can't tell, Christopher Judge is the voice of Kratos in the new God of War.
Yes.
So I'm happy. I think that's a good... I'm not going to play that game. Maybe I'll watch cutscene or something. Respect Christopher Judge.
Yep. The Tales of Arise opening is on YouTube, and it's very hype. Yes. Arise chicken.
Arise chicken.
Arise chicken.
So you said the opening's on YouTube?
Oh my God. Yeah, the opening. So, the little anime opening that is at the beginning of every Tales game. They're usually all pretty hype. This one was hype, so it's got me even more hype for the game.
Oh, man.
I watch the openings every single time I boot up a Tales game.
Wow.
Every single time.
You don't skip it not once?
No.
Wow.
Never skip it. No.
Are they as good as Dynasty Warriors games openings? Because those got pretty hype after a while.
I haven't heard a Dynasty Warriors opening since like 3. And I don't even remember it because I haven't played one since.
What?
Actually, the most recent Dynasty Warriors game I played is Strike Force, if that says anything.
Dude, you have to get on YouTube today. Everybody, listen, get on YouTube today.
Right.
Okay. I need you to open up YouTube. I need you to search Dynasty Warriors opening and watch they are fucking bananas. I mean, we were talking about how the movie kind of looks like Dynasty Warriors. The openings of these, what they do with Jung Yoon, like in his spear and all the dumb shit he gets up to. There's one point where I think he jump kicks a horse. It's so stupid. Nice. Anyways, okay, awesome. I just wanted to insert that. So Tales of Arise, opening. Got it.
Yeah. And that game is coming out September 10th, and it's already pre-ordered for me.
Woo.
It's changing up the formula a little bit. The graphic style, the combat looks amazing. It looks so good. And hopefully I can get Michael to try it out after I beat it.
I'm looking forward to hearing about it and possibly giving it a shot. Maybe it'll be my new Ease 8.
All right. And next up, we got Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl. This is a Smash clone from Nickelodeon. And it actually doesn't look bad, but the only thing is it literally looks like a straight up copy. Like they have the same smoke that X's a character when they get knocked off screen.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure that it's going to have a similar button configuration for the moves, but they've got a lot of Nickelodeon characters. They've got a couple Ninja Turtles, Michelangelo and Leonardo. Got Powdered Toast Man. Yeah, Powdered Toast Man. From Ren and Stimpy. Like, what? And Reptar from Rugrats. Olga from Hey Arnold, which I'm confused as to why Arnold was not a character, Gerald.
They didn't show all the characters yet. By the way, if they don't have Log, then 0 out of 10. I'm not buying it.
Log from...
It's Log. It's Log. It's big, it's heavy, it's wood. It's Log. It's Log.
Oh,
it's better than bad, it's good.
It is not ringing a bell. But
it's from Ren and Stimpy, like Powdered Toast Man.
Okay.
It was basically a kid's commercial that was like a play off of the Slinky.
Okay.
What goes downstairs, rolls over in Paris, rolls over your neighbor's dog. There's a whole song. Yeah, it's basically it's literally just a log, like a wooden log. That's it. It's so dumb, plank. But that's why it's funny. It's awesome. Basically plank.
Right. And you got SpongeBob, Sandy, and Patrick, of course.
Mm-hmm.
I think they confirmed like 14 or 17 characters, so be on the lookout for that. It's coming out fall 2021. And what I'm hearing is people are actually interested. Like YouTubers that play Smash and stuff are actually interested and say it looks amazing. So
yeah, Mighty Keith, Alpharetta. I've seen a lot of people on Twitter and on YouTube talking about it. Like it's getting some buzz. So cool. We've had a lot of challengers in the past. A lot of Smash clones have come and gone. They didn't really stick around. They didn't have what it took. I am all about competition. And if this comes out, ends up being great, to me, so much the better. There's room. Maybe one day we will get Super Smash Brothers versus Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl. Wouldn't that be amazing? Versus Marvel or versus Capcom versus
even better.
SNK versus Tekken versus Street Fighter.
Yeah, even better, maybe we'll get a PlayStation All-Stars 2 that's actually not bad.
That's not ass.
Well, not bad. Like, I enjoyed what I played of PlayStation All-Stars, don't get me wrong, but it definitely was no Smash.
Overall, it didn't feel great to me, and I didn't like how you had to win matches. But there was also one little gripe that I never really got past. It just bugged me. I didn't like how the theme stages were crossovers. I wanted the stage to be singularly about the game it was derived from, not like God of War cross Patapon. Because then you're like taking me out of it, because now I'm just seeing a bunch of shit that don't belong together in the background, right?
Right.
That's a minor gripe. But then the gameplay and how you win matches didn't really land with me either. But I agree with you. If they can give it a Sakurai level of polish and try again, they have well enough. I mean, Dante actually got in that game. I mean, I guess he got in Smash too, kind of.
Right. Yeah, they've got enough, man. They got Sly, Jack, Ratchet.
Oh, yeah. The case has been made.
Dante,
I mean, just with the original cast, for sure.
Yeah, they even had Isaac from Dead Space.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he was in the game. Yeah, he was DLC, though.
Yeah,
he was DLC. Him and Zeus were DLC.
Ah.
Let's see. Moving on.
Yes.
A WADA graded copy of Super Mario 64, graded a 9.8, sold for $1.5 million at
What's this,
Heritage Auctions.
What's this grading thing? What is that?
Yeah, so grading is basically the process. You send your game into a company that grades the game. They have an expert, quote unquote, expert look at the seal and see if there's any creases, if there's any dents in the box, whatever. And then they assign a grade to it. And then they encase it in this special grading company plastic case, and it's pretty, and it has a little sticker on it that tells you the grade and like if it was ever circulated, if it was
you get
like
the Carfax
special edition or whatever.
Yeah.
Basically, yeah, you get the Carfax.
You get the Carfax for the game.
You get the Carfax for the game.
So 9.8, is it out of 10?
It's out of 10.
Wow.
Which part of me is like, well, why not just give it a 10 then? Because
well,
honestly,
maybe they have very specific docking. Maybe you got docked 2 points for like a small little, I don't know, maybe because it wasn't vacuum sealed 100% perfectly. I don't know. Who knows?
Right. Yeah. It seems to me like a very arbitrary way to pump up the value of sealed games. But that's
shit
just
worked. Me. I mean, God,
there's
1.5 million?
Yeah. And so the issue comes in when we're basically trying to figure out if a customer actually bought this or if it was someone within WADA or Heritage Auctions that has deep pockets that bought it so as to pump up the value of the grading process, which gets people to send more stuff in, which gets them to send more stuff to the auction, more money. Then eventually you can charge more for the grading process. Because right now it's not that expensive, but yeah, it's wild. There's a lot that goes into it. One of the board of directors for WADA actually bought the copy from Heritage Auctions of an original Super Mario Brothers on Nintendo. So the information is out there and they're kind of just like, aha, we're doing this. And what are you going to do about it? Basically. So it seems they also WADA doesn't release population reports. So a population report is basically where they let you know how many copies of this game they've graded and are out there.
Okay.
As far as we know, they could have graded 50 copies of the Super Mario 64 at a 9.8 and they're just out there and somebody could have paid 1.5 million. The person that bids also does not have to buy the item, which is another thing. So cash.
So they can they can have plants that would raise up the price for the real bidder who gets stuck with the bill, or if it was a fake bidder that got stuck with it, they could just do it all over again.
Right. So that's why it's a little fishy. I don't know. Like Super Mario 64 is a common game, and you can find that game sealed easier than say like go on for PS2 or Haunting Grounds or whatever. Like Super Mario 64 sold millions and millions of copies. So there has to be other sealed copies that can be graded at a 9.8 out there. It has to be.
Interesting.
So I'm just saying this, like I've thought about getting into grading myself.
Yeah, I was going to say, are you going to send all your shit in while it's cheap?
Yeah, I've thought about it. I might do it. I might not. It just seems like there's something ethically not right there going on. But I don't know. They do it with comics, which I feel like makes more sense because comics are harder to come by in good condition. Like games are basically a dime a dozen, especially when they sold millions of copies. So I might do it, but I don't find enough sealed games, let alone ones that are in good enough condition to get graded anyway.
Fair enough.
But just to give you a point of reference, actually on Facebook Marketplace, I saw somebody with a 6.5 graded Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask, and they were asking $350,000 for a 6.5 grade. There's no precedent for that, mind you.
Right.
But this whole business with this 1.5 million Super Mario 64 now has people thinking, oh, wow, I've got $1 million in my closet.
Yeah.
When it's like, no, you don't. But, it's
well,
fine,
I mean,
I guess.
I can't knock the hustle. Depending on how you spin it, maybe you do have $1 million in your closet. You find the right buyer, the right time, the right mindset. I mean, again, the game itself is not worth $1.5 million, even sealed. We both know this.
Right.
There's so many different ways to play it. There's so many different ways to get the physical cartridge. The box. There's so many different ways you could recreate that whole setup. I mean...
There is no logical reason to buy a game, Super Mario 64, for $1.5 million.
Other than maybe they were girls watching. I don't know. Like maybe
there were girls watching.
Maybe it was a flex. I don't know.
Right. And speaking of sealed games, this is just moving on from the whole grading thing. I feel like the only reason to buy a sealed game that's old is to have the feeling of I'm the first person to play this copy of the game. You know what I mean?
It's a little possessive and creepy when you think about it.
Yeah, it's I would not buy a sealed game.
Well, a lot of people buy sealed games, they never open them, and that's
as an investment.
Yeah, maybe they're
because
they're investing, they're going to sell it later, or they're a collector and they just legit want to display it, and that's their Fabergé egg. I'm not going to knock that either, but it's just 1.5. There are people dying of hunger. Not to go on any. I'm not going to go on a leftist rant. I promise. It just blows my mind when I hear stuff like that. It's just like, word. Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Some of us got too much money. Some of us got too. That's all I'm going to say. Okay.
Some of us need to share. Okay.
Yeah. I kind of wish there was a system in place to take some of that money that they don't know what to do with. Nah, bitch. You ain't going to space. These people are hungry. Right. Okay. Moving on. What else we got this week? That's about to piss me off. I think not too long.
Right. We've got some Final Fantasy X news. So apparently there was an interview with Weekly Famitsu. It was for Final Fantasy X's 20th anniversary. We had the producer Yoshinori Kitase, the director Motomu Toriyama, the writer Kazushige Nojima, and the character designer Tetsu Nomura.
Mr. Belts himself.
Yeah, we love it. And you know what? I don't care what anybody says. I still love that man. He's giving me some of my favorite things ever.
He's like the Tim Burton of Japanese video game developers in that he made some really cool shit when he was younger. Kind of questionable if you look at it too closely. But then as he's gone on, his shit's gone a little bit crazier and crazier. And you're like, I don't know if I can hang with it anymore. But I digress.
Right.
He's not that far along yet because Final Fantasy VII Remake, I mean, people can have their gripes about it. It was pretty good. So,
yeah, it was amazing. So basically, I'm just going to give you a couple quotes from the article. They're basically asking if Final Fantasy X-3 is a possibility or if it's a thing or if it's ever been a thing. And Nojima said, if there's going to be a Final Fantasy X-3, then for the time being, we do have the synopsis. So that means that there is some sort of outline for a Final Fantasy X-3 game. And then another quote, the possibility is not zero, the Final Fantasy X-2 director Toriyama said. But first, we're not done making Final Fantasy VII Remake, so we're not in a position to talk about it just yet. So the Kotaku article says that that's not a hard no from Square Enix.
It's a traditional non-answer, though. It's just like, we're not going to close the door on it, but who knows? And coming from them, the people that, I don't know, didn't they announce Final Fantasy VII Remake during the 80s? I can't remember exactly when they did it. Pretty sure Nixon was president when that happened.
Oh, my God.
So, I mean...
Final Fantasy VII Remake.
Exactly. I mean, look what Final Fantasy 15 turned into versus what it used to be. Wasn't it like Versus 13? Like it was.
God, I wish we could have got Versus 13.
Anyways, we're going to go down a rabbit hole here if we keep discussing that. But
I just want to say, I remember being in high school on the computer in the library looking at Versus 13 trailers on GameTrailers.com.
I bet you were.
I was looking up so hard.
I remember being in college and printing out like a 1,000-page walkthrough for Final Fantasy IX. So
yikes,
out nerded. Somebody's like, "That's a big book report," and I'm like, "It sure is." That I'm using school resources, right?
Because I was in college printing off a walkthrough for Final Fantasy IX.
Because I don't know if you remember, but the real walkthrough was shit. You had to it was like, if you want to know the rest of this part of the walkthrough, go on to Play Online to get it. Oh, it doesn't exist anymore? Fuck you then.
Like, all right, fuck you guys.
It was the worst idea ever. I was like, I got this in print because I don't have ready access to the internet, you assholes. So, right. Anyways, moving on.
Yeah, so Final Fantasy X-3, I don't know if that's something that I need to see or that I even want to see. I can assume that it would be a better game than X-2 simply because that released in 2003 and gameplay mechanics and storytelling have evolved much since then. But I'm not going to hold my breath. I would love to see Tidus again, just because. I was thinking about this earlier. I was telling my wife, I said, you know what? Tidus, if we're being real, Tidus is the first black main character in a Final Fantasy game.
Huh?
Jecht is black. I don't give a fuck what anybody says.
No, he ain't.
Jecht is black. Jecht is black.
No, he ain't.
Go back and look at Jecht.
Yeah, he's tan as fuck because he's always out in the sun, but his hair is all straight and flat. Like, he's a dark-skinned Japanese dude at best, dude.
No, if Jecht is not a black man, then I'm fucking white. Jecht is black.
Well, Tidus is certainly white.
Well, here's another thing. I said Jecht is black. His mom is white, and Tidus is Asian looking, especially in the CG cutscenes.
Yeah, I don't know. I think Barrett. I don't know that distinction.
No, I mean just like straight up
the main
character.
I got you.
The MC. Yeah, I'm claiming Tidus. The Black Caucus is claiming Tidus.
I don't know. You might be alone on that one. We're gonna have to get some more
I might
votes.
be,
Listeners,
but I'm gonna keep it because
our listeners of color, please write in. Let us know: is Tidus black or nah?
Jecht is a black man.
We need to know. Well, I mirror your sentiments on Final Fantasy X-3. However, Final Fantasy .10, a preemptive journey, the commoning 252 over 2 days, the monk, his blitzball friend, and Braska, a journey to the west, or whatever the fuck they decide to call it. That prequel, right. I want to see that.
Yeah. I want to see Jecht, Orin, and Braska.
The original pilgrimage. That's what I want to see.
Same areas. Right.
I'm down with OPP, other people's pilgrimages.
Right.
That's what I want to see. All right, let's move on. We hung out on that one for a while. Oh my god.
Oh yeah.
See what happens. This is why we need that Final Fantasy side podcast we were talking about. Oh my god.
Man, I'm trying to tell them.
Why aren't we doing it? All right. Anyways, one of these days, Phil Spencer, big boy at Xbox. He makes a lot of sweet and admiring remarks to his competitors at Nintendo and Sony. I can't tell if it's performative, but it seems genuine. I kind of prefer someone like him to be the head of Sony because he seems to actually like what he does. He likes video games. I feel like if he was the head of Sony, we probably would see backwards compatibility for PS5 for all the other PSs, so to speak. Mm-hmm. But he's made a lot of admiring remarks recently about the Sony DualSense controller, and it's sparking rumors that there may be a redesign of the Xbox Series X controller in our future. Now, I want to reiterate here that these are comicbook.com style rumors. These are not confirmed in the slightest at all. Right. And we know what happens when we go down the rabbit hole of rumors. I mean, look at the Switch Pro. Actually, you know what? I think we were right about the Switch Pro. I'll get to that later. Okay. But for the most part, rumors, you can buy into them and have fun with them. But the dark side of is a lot of people get real butthurt and they speak out and it becomes this big thing. And there are no winners, only losers and victims. So let's have fun with these rumors, but let's take them with a huge table grain of salt, okay? A whole bottle of kosher salt, okay? So, what do you think? I mean, haptics seem to be the wave of the future. Everybody that I've talked to, you've had experience with it, I've had experience with it, Nakruma's raving about it on Twitter. Everybody that I know has PS5 is like, yo, this DualSense, this shit is legit. You thinking other people are going to imitate it? You think it's going to happen with Xbox? Is that you know.
I mean, it's definitely a possibility. They've got the money to do it. I'm sure they've got the know-how.
Mm-hmm.
My only issue with the DualSense is not with the controller itself, but the amount of developers that are actually taking advantage of it. It doesn't, like when I was playing Scarlet Nexus, yeah, the adaptive triggers, like when you do a psychic attack, are a little tight, but that's literally it. Like there's nothing else about it that screams like, ooh, haptic feedback, adaptive triggers, way for the future. Playing Judgment, nothing.
Yeah, I would say that you're right. I don't think we have enough data to really see whether or not it's going to be fully supported. But I will say that when it is fully supported, a la Returnal, a la Ratchet and Clank, a la Miles of Morales and Spider-Man Remastered, when it is used correctly, it's very nice. It's very, very nice.
Yes, it's very nice. It does make a finger very tired, though.
Yeah, my grip strength has definitely increased playing all these PS5 games this year. Like, I'm feeling pretty strong. Like, I could crush a coconut in my hand.
Right. Don't grab. Let's try not to grab our wife's asses. We'll probably crush them.
Yeah. Just like, no, my butt.
That's too hard.
No. Yeah, so, yeah, definitely that 2 damage might turn into 20 damage. We start grabbing that ass, so who knows. But yeah, no, I think it would be great. I think it's got some legitimacy just because that's just the way the wind's blowing no matter who's saying what. I mean, if it becomes successful and people are really raving about it and everybody I hear that has experience with it really likes it, yeah, why not? It's interesting because it's one of the first innovations I feel like that Sony got ahead of the other companies with. Usually it's Nintendo trying out the goofy shit. Like, Sony tries to pretend like it did the HD vibration first, but come on. That was Nintendo. Nintendo did that first. The Joy-Cons definitely have very distinct vibrations. You know what I mean? For all their faults, the vibration's pretty key. But this whole adaptive trigger thing, it's cool. And it's an idea all their own. And I hope that it does get copped because, you know, it does enhance the gaming experience, I have to say.
Yeah.
All right. So, recently, I don't know how recently, but I saw this today and I wanted to include it. We watched the trailer for a new Monster Hunter TV show on Netflix. And it's coming out really soon, August 12th. Yeah. And you can see the trailer right now on YouTube if you want. It's called Monster Hunter Legends of the Guild. It's a CG series pretty damn faithful to the games. And you can see a lot of recognizable monsters, and there's even a Calico in the trailer talking, which is really cool. And they're going on an epic quest to preserve the balance of nature and stop this rampaging monster. Pretty much the plot.
That is part of nature.
Yeah, stories, Hunter stories 1 and 2. I'm kind of into it. You know, I've been wanting to get into Monster Hunter in different ways. The main game's too much for me. Can't do it. Too much time investment. Got to bounce to another game. Got to move on. But the RPG and this, it seems like a way to do it. I mean, you just watched the trailer. You seemed a lit'll less impressed than me, but what'd you think?
I think as far as the faithfulness to the property, looks great. The CG is what I have the biggest problem with. It does not look that good.
That's fair.
It does not look that good. We've seen better CG. I feel like Advent Children, which was a 2007 movie.
Yeah, it does look better. Advent Children looks better than this. I would agree.
Yeah, which is, I mean, Advent Children, I'm sure had millions of dollars put behind it. So that's another thing. But as far as like the monsters, like when it first started and the monster was like destroying the village stuff, I was like, oh, that looks badass. Oh my God, it looks so good. And then it got to the calmer sections where he was walking through the village. And I was like, oh, it's not going to look like that all the time. Okay.
Yeah, they might have cut corners like they did with Resident Evil. If the writing and the story is good enough, then it won't matter to me. I mean, Resident Evil, we were complaining about that last week. The animation was like a nitpick, but honestly, if the story was any good at all, we wouldn't have cared that much. You know what I mean?
No, not
like,
at all.
I don't care that you're ugly, but if you suck at your job too, then I'm going to talk about your face. You know what I mean? So I think it's just that kind of situation. So yeah, I wasn't blown away by the animation either. I like the style. And I like the voice acting and the setup so far. So it's a wait and see. I already got Netflix. I ain't got nothing to lose except for maybe a couple hours checking it out. So yeah, if you're interested, drop it on August 12th. We'll probably be talking about it later on. The last thing I want to talk about till we get to the big story is a little heads up for Smash players, because I always hate when I miss these. Sakuna of Rice and Ruin spirits are in Smash. They're dropping today, which as of the time recording is the 16th, and will be available in Smash to get through the spirit mode battles for 5 days. So by the time y'all hear this, you got a couple more days. Boot up your Smash. If you'd like to collect those spirits, go kick some Sakuna of Rice and Ruin inspired battles and get them spirits and have fun smashing.
And spirits and
smash it up. Okay.
Spirit.
All right, here it is. So the Switch Pro did not happen last week because it was happening this week. And here's the confusing part. Nintendo didn't make the Switch Pro like we thought.
What?
That's where we got turned around. They made the Switch OLED model. Valve made the Switch Pro, and they call it the Steam Deck.
Ooh, Steam Deck, baby.
Yeah, let me enunciate. Steam Deck. Steamy. So I don't know about the name. I feel like it can be turned around a little bit too easily. But other than that, the Steam Deck. People, it's been circulating everywhere. If you listen to a gaming podcast, it's already on your radar at this point. I told a little story about my troubles trying to pre-order one. I liked how they set up the pre-orders, though, to try to counteract the inevitable scalping. And by the way, it's already up for like $2,000 and $3,000 on eBay. Go
Ridiculous.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, you know it. You know it. You fucking know it. But what they did is they opened up pre-orders today at 1 p.m. Eastern, and you had to have purchased a Steam game prior to like June 30th or so. I can't remember exactly what the date was. So basically, it had to go through Steam. You had to have a Steam account already set up and have purchased a game prior to even being announced. So a lot of scalpers who maybe don't play on Steam, all they do is professionally buy up a bunch of merch so people can't get it. They wouldn't be able to go in and buy it up. Also, They were starting to, unfortunately, they did this to me before I even got a chance to buy one. They started to limit, if you clicked too many times buy because the site was slowing down, then it was like, and you saw this message because I sent it to you guys. It was like, you have tried to buy too many things in the last couple of hours. Wait a while. And I was like, what?
Maybe you should take a break, buddy.
I was like, no. I did take a break, though. But luckily, I got it in my cart. And unlike Best Buy or Walmart, when it gets in your cart, it stays there, which was nice.
Right.
Novel concept, right? If you get one system in the cart, it gets to stay there because they know.
Like imagine going to the grocery store, putting something in your cart, and then it being the last one, then somebody just snatching it out of your cart.
Right, because that's what happens typically.
That's what it's
And honestly, that would be the best fix. Limit one, and if it's in your cart, it stays there. So that way, if the internet slows down or the site crashes, as it inevitably is going to do, and Steam definitely crashed a bunch. Then once the smoke settles, you can still kind of proceed through and purchase your steamy deck. So
your steaming pile of deck.
Your steaming pile of deck. So the specs on this, I'm not going to bore you with all the teraflops and the numbers. You can look that up if you want, but I'm going to layman's it up. So if you want to know the power of this thing, it's basically a portable PS4 Pro, which is pretty fucking impressive. The screen resolution, I think, is 720. But again, on a screen that size, that's what you want. I didn't hear much about the resolution because they're going to release their own dock. But any laptop dock or whatever, any USB-C dock, I think would work to get it onto a monitor. So you can dock it already, which is great.
Nice. They
say the battery life is going to be 2 to 8 hours, which seems like a pretty big range. But you have to consider that this is, for all intents and purposes, a PC. So if you have 60 frames versus 30 frames, if you have your graphics turned up, if you got your brightness turned up, there's a million different things that could have a game running optimally, suboptimally, anywhere in between that can have an effect on battery life. My suggestion, if you're playing high end, just be near an outlet. Be prepared that you're going to have to probably charge that bad boy, right?
Yeah.
There are 3 models, and this is where it gets interesting. So the base model is $399. Just a little more expensive than, say, a Switch OLED model. A little cheaper. Like, say it's like an Xbox Series X. I guess that's the price for that, right?
$499 is the price for that.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Interesting. I thought that was for the Series X. Did I pay? Okay.
No, you said X. At the S is
Series,
$300.
I thought I said Series S. I'm sorry. So Series S, right?
Yeah.
$399 gets you 64 gigs on an eMMC card and a carrying case. Now, I'm mentioning the card specifically because this is not a high-speed read, okay? For a high-speed read, you want to get to the next model, which is $529. It's got 256 gigabytes on an NVMe SSD. So that's big boy speed.
SSD.
Fast read. Got that SSD, girl. You also get a carrying case. I think it also...
dick.
I'm going to try that on the wife later on. Hey, girl, you want some SSD? What's
SSD?
that? What's that, boy? It's that high speed, solid state dick.
Oh, yeah.
Anyways.
5G peen, baby.
Once again, the show has divulged into horny. I'm so sorry, listeners. Anyways.
Yes.
Did you get a carrying case with that? You get like a profile bundle. I don't know exactly what that means, if they're going to like give you Steam games or what the fuck a profile. I'm not that big into Steam yet. I have a very small library on Steam, enough to get this today. Thank you.
You don't need to get into Steam. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Yeah, so many games to play.
I know, right? But they're so cheap on Steam. Anyways,
I know.
That's the thing. I'm going to talk about that in a second, but I think this is going to eat Nintendo's lunch if they're not careful. I'll talk about why. So it may also have an anti-glare screen, or that may only come with the final model. I can't remember which. But the final model is $649. It's got 512 gigs of the same high-speed SSD, exclusive carrying case, profile bundle, and an exclusive theme, anti-glare screen, big boy. That's the one that I pre-ordered. So I got till December to get that thing paid off. It's on layaway, baby. $5
What justifies
pre-order.
the increase? Is it the anti-glare screen?
It's the amount of storage, because again, you're getting 256 gigs versus 512, plus the high speed.
Well, isn't the middle model the 512 as well?
No, the middle model is 256.
Okay.
So it goes 64 gigs with low speed, 256 high speed, 512 high speed. Okay.
Gotcha. That's a big boy.
He's big boy. So yeah, it's the controller. People were wondering about the placement of the sticks. From all of the reviews I've heard, people who had hands-on with the prototype, it actually is more comfortable than you would think. And I believe it, because I've played similar kind of hand. Again, this is not a new concept, people. I'm in that emulation scene. There are a lot of Chinese handhelds and a lot of Android handhelds that are fucking crushing it right now overseas. And they can make their way here. Like, I got little baby Ann Burnick, so I can do like some emulation up to like PlayStation or whatever. And that works okay. Yeah. But the technology to put PC games on a handheld is nothing new. But with Valve doing it, that's what's got me interested, because of the support and the compatibility and the legitimacy and blah, blah, blah.
Right.
It's got the trackpads for games that are more mouse heavy. There's a couple of things that do concern me. One is the weight. This is a big boy, because you got to consider it's got a lot of heat it's got to move. So it's got a fan in there going, got a lot of stuff. It is 1.47 pounds.
Okay.
It's almost a 2-pound handheld. Now, by comparison, a Switch, an OG Switch, not a Lite, not an OLED, but a Switch with the Joy-Cons attached is 0.88. Okay? So you take that 0.88 and you double it.
Double it.
You take 2 Switches and you hold them back to back. So, yeah, that may be a little bit of carpal tunnel. I don't know. I think it'll be fine. It just depends on how you hold your Switch and how long you hold it and whatever, I guess.
Right. If there's a grip or something that makes it more comfortable to hold.
So, yeah, the weight is a concern. The battery life is a concern. There was a report from Kotaku that dropped today saying that it may, or currently does not support very popular games on Steam because of some kind of technology issue. I didn't read too much into it, but it was like PUBG, Apex Legends, Destiny 2, a lot of shit that people want to play online, a lot of very popular PC games don't work on this right now for some reason. So there's that. Now, me personally, that doesn't affect me. I mean, I talked about my opinion of Apex Legends earlier on the show, but I'm thinking of the possibility you can actually remove the operating system that they have on here default, the Steam operating system, and put Windows on here if you want. And for all intents and purposes, this could be a motherfucking emulation beast. I could turn this into a PS2. I could legally rip all the ISOs from all the discs that I own and move them to this thing and play PS2 games on the motherfucking go. And that, to me, is already worth the price of entry. But when you add in the expansive and often on sale Steam library, the possibility, and it can do mods. Like, you can finally play Skyrim, but like the legit Skyrim, like the Thomas the Tank Engine, Macho Man Randy Savage fucking Skyrim on this bad boy. So there's a lot of possibility here. I'm pretty excited to be an early adopter of this thing and check it out. I'm a little worried because Valve has done hardware before and left it in the dust, but I feel like just this seems to really play to a lot of people's wants, and I'm going to get a whole lot of hands-on time. this winter because I'm going to have a lot of time to myself for reasons I'll disclose later. But there's definitely going to be a good reason to sit and play this for a bit. So, yeah.
Awesome.
You got any opinions? I know you've looked into it a little bit. What are your thoughts?
My only gripes are the weight and the button placement. Like, the buttons are really high up. Mm-hmm. And I don't know, it just feels, it looks weird to me. But again, when you get it, I'll be able to put it in my hands and see what's going on with it. But okay. I mean, very interesting. Very interesting. Not for me, but especially with the battery life issue, because I'm always kind of on the go, sticking to moving.
I feel you. All right. Well, that is, we'll have more to say on that as more news comes out, and definitely more to say in December. So look forward to that. And we got listeners this week.